Lily second, correct?
No, Lily's last. It's the opposite.
I put a green tape sticker to put around in my ears. This one's Uvion Shabbat, that one's Uvion, well, not Uvion, but
Yom Hashishi. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get going.
I'm gonna put on my shoes. Be right back.
Hey, Ken, you want to do me a favor? Just close that door
Yeah.
so I can see the mirror from here. Okay.
Yeah,
I think they need a couple more. And the only other thing, Phil, I'm not sure about is candy.
we've got
Fine. Just want to make sure because Jessica was out last Thursday. So we're going to get going this morning. You're okay. I promise you. Got a lot to do today. Lot to celebrate. So we're going to begin as we do each morning and each Shabbat morning with some tefillot, some prayers that get us into the mood for our worship this morning. Remind us that it is simply a gift to be able to get up and move about the world, let alone be able to come together as families and celebrate special occasions, which is what today is certainly. So we rise on page 103 as we begin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sachvivina lehavchim ben yom u'ben layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani b'tzamo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokev kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechim etzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesali kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozei Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otei Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anoten le'ayev koach. May be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Utneinu hayom v'chol yom l'chen chesed arachamim be'einecha uve'nei chol ro'inu v'tigmalenu chasadim tovim. Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim li'amo Yisrael. Elam yeyadeh down shmei. We're on 105. Ashreinu ma tov chelkenu ma na'im goralenu ma yafa yerushatenu. Ashreinu shanachnu mashkivim u'marivim erev v'avoker v'yomrim hamayim bechol yom. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Atahu Ad Shalom Nivra. Kadesh et shimcha makdishei shemecha v'kadesh et shimcha b'olamecha v'yitshuatcha tarim v'tagbia karnenu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh et shimcha b'rabim. If you turn over to page 107, you find the beginning of several pages of selections for study, and the very first passage for study on the left side in the English, you'll see it comes from Numbers 6:24 through 26. That is the priestly blessing. It actually precedes the section that Lily will be reading for her maftir today, just before that. And of course, these words we will invoke later on are the most profound words we can offer ourselves and offer others during life cycle moments. There's a tradition of reciting it on Friday night, and certainly the tradition of blessing our children with it, and you will find it also under a chuppah when we get married, and most certainly when we celebrate a bar bat mitzvah. So we will recite it later on, and you will find it, the Yivarechecha, we're very well known. It's also in the Amidah. It's an important selection for us. So we keep that in mind as we go to page 110 under the Aleph. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'lehavotenu v'imotenu shetiten chelkenu b'toratecha v'nihi amitamidav shel Aharon hakohen ohev shalom v'rodev shalom ohev et habriot u'mekarvan latorah. You'll find Kaddish de Rabbanan, page 111. We rise. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam olomei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan v'al Tamidehon v'al kol Tamidei Tamidehon v'al kol mandos kim v'araita di v'atra haden v'di v'chol atar v'atar yehen lahon l'chon shlama rabba china v'chista v'rachamin v'chayin arichin u'mizona revicha u'forchana min kodam v'vahon v'di v'shemaya v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim tovim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav hu barachamav ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. You're welcome to be seated. We're on page 112 for the Psalm for Shabbat. Hayom Yom Shabbat Kodesh Shebo Hayu Havim Amrihim B'Veit HaMikdash Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lo Dov L'Adonai Ozamesh V'Chalom Yom. Od Yunivim B'Seva D'Shenim V'Rananim Yihiyu L'Hakiki Ashar Adonai Tzuri V'Lo Avla Hatabo. We turn to page 114. There you'll find the special psalm for Rosh Chodesh. We are celebrating Rosh Chodesh, the new month of Tevet today, 114. Hayom Rosh Chodesh Shebo Omrim Barchi Nafshi Et Adonai Adonai Elohai Gadlata. Barchi nafshi et Adonai, hallelujah. We turn over to page 121. There you'll find, once again, the Mourners Kaddish. Before we did the Kaddish for study, this is the Mourners Kaddish. Anyone reciting Hadisha Tom, the Mourners Kaddish, you are welcome to rise with me and join. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam elomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We rise, page 122 for Baruch She'amar. Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam Baruch hu Baruch oseh v'reishit Baruch omer yoseh Baruch gozer kayim Baruch merachem ha'aretz Baruch merachem ha'abriot Baruch meshalem sachar tov l'reyav Baruch ala avakayam lanetzach Baruch podel matzil Baruch Shemo Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam el abrachamanu olam b'kimo Yachid chei haolamim melech meshubach umfaradei ad shemo hagadol Baruch atah Adonai melech mehulal batishbachot. You may be seated. We turn over to page 136. There you'll find our Hallelujah Psalms, including Ashrei 136. Ashrei Yashvei V'Techa Yod Yalucha Selah Ashreim Shekacha Lo Ashreim Shadamai Lohavt. Tehillat Adonai Yadaber Pi Vivarech Obasar Shem Kodsho Lilam Vayed Vanachnu Nevarech Yah Me'atav Yaromam Hallelujah 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 Nafshi Et Adonai Mohammed Chayim Zamot Adonai shomer et gerim yatom v'yamanai yoded v'derech r'shayim yavek yimloch Adonai le'olam melech tzion l'dor v'ador Alleluia Alleluia Ki tov zamra Eloheinu Ki na'im nabati la b'nei Yerushalayim. We're on 138. Magid v'rav Yaakov chukav v'mishpatav Yisrael lo asachen l'chol goy mishpatim bal yidam. Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. Et Adonai min hashamayim, Alleluia, b'amramim, Alleluia, kol malachav, Alleluia, kol tzvav. Shemesh v'yariach v'yadin k'koch v'yor. Vayarem karen le'amot hila l'chol chasidav lifnei Yisrael am karovo. Hallelujah. 140. Hallelujah. Shir l'Adonai, shir chadash tilatel b'chol chasidim yismach yismach. Lehesor malchechem bizikim b'nik medechem v'chavlei varzel la'asot b'hem mishpat katuv hadar l'chol chasidav. Alleluia. 141. Alleluia, 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 Bekodsho. Alleluia, Alleluia, Birkia Uzo. Hallelujah, 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 big Vurotov, hallelujah, hallelujah, Kirov, good law, hallelujah, 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 but take a shofar, hallelujah, hallelujah, nevel v'chinor. Hallelujah, 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 betof umachol. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'minim ve'ugav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Tzolei Shama, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, B'tzio Tzolei Teruah, Kol HaNeshama Tehallel, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Kol HaNeshama Tehallel, Hallelujah, Kol HaNeshama Tehallel, Hallelujah. We turn on over to page 145. Nishmat kol chai, tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu, v'ruch kol basar tevaret remains. We're on the very bottom of 146. Nehalelcha unshabechecha unva'ercha unvarech et shem kodshecha kamor leDavid barchi nafshi et Adonai v'chol karavai et shem kodsho ha'el b'tatzumot uzecha hagadol bichvod shemecha hagipur lanetzach v'anora v'noratecha hamelech hayoshev al kisei ram v'nisa. With that, we can conclude our preliminary tefillot that get us into the mood. It's kind of like your warm-up before you go out and do your real workout, right? So we're going to have a little bit of help in doing that workout with Hayden and Lily. So I'm going to ask them if they'll come up and bring their talitot. One of the signs and marks of being a bar bat mitzvah is the fact that you have now the responsibility to wear a talit. And what does the talit represent? Well, those knotted fringes on the bottom of the talit are representative of all the mitzvot that they, as b'nei mitzvah, take upon themselves now as Jewish adults. Those are all those rituals, all of those values that we all are charged with doing, and today they accept that charge as Jewish adults. And again, one of the signs of that is wearing the talit in prayer and seeing those tzitzit. So if you all will hold out your talit. Do the bracha together. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher ishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit. Beautiful. Those are both gorgeous talitot. They match very nicely too. Did you guys do that on purpose? Coordinate. They're beautiful. You all can take a seat as the cantor gets started, and you'll find the beginning of our formal shacharit service, our morning service. And for those of you who are the early birds, you'll hear this a couple more times. We have a lovely service, but it is 3 occasions today, 4 occasions technically. It is, of course, Shabbat. It is also the new month. It's Rosh Chodesh, which adds and Chanukah. So those are those 3 things, and those add a Seder Hallel, a special section of prayer that raises even our spirits a little bit more with some special psalms. And we also then, how many Torahs do we have, guys, we're taking out? 3 Torahs. This is the exciting Shabbat of the year where we get to have 3 Torahs taken out as well. So we have a lot to do and a lot to study and a lot to celebrate, in addition to Lily and Hayden becoming B'nai Mitzvah. That's the cornerstone, of course, of our service this morning, is their participation and being here and being called to the Torah. So you'll find the formal beginning of Shacharit, page 147.
Shochinad Marom V'Kadosh Shemo B'fi sharim tithalal V'ivrit tzadikim tiborach U'lshon chasidim titramam U'v'kerev kedoshim titkadash Al kol כל דברי שירה ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך.
We rise, 148.
ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, ברכות והודעות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלכתו ותשבחות, אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אל חי העולמים. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, מלמד יברכנו וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימייכון ובחייכו בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפואר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי קודשה. לעילה מקווקתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו amen. We rise. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
You're welcome to be seated. We're on 150 at the top.
אין ככך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס פתח גואלנו לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים. אלא אדון על כל המעשים, ברוך ומבורך בפי כל הנשמה, גודלו וטובו מלא עולם. דעת ודבונה סובב עמותו, פאר וכבוד נותנים לשמו, צהלה ורינה לזכר מלכותו. קרא לשמש ויזרח אור, רע והתקין צורת הלבנה, שבע עננים לו כל צבא מרום, תפארת וגדולה שרפים ויופנים. וחיור הקודש. 152. תברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך, ויאמרי אור שעשית יפרוך הסלע. 153. תברך צולנו מלכנו וגואלנו בורא קדושים. וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה וטהרה, בשירה ובזמרה מברכים ומשבחים ופארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים את שם האל. כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש 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 Adonai Tzevaot Melech kol haaretz kevodo ve'haof ani v'chayot hakodesh merash gadol mitnasim liumat serafim liumatam mishabechim ve'yomerim Baruch Adonai mimekomo. Oh, Chadash Hatzion Tawir. V'nizkech ulanu hemilani ro Baruch Atah Adonai. Yotzeh HaMeorot.
Page 154.
וקרבתנו שמך הגדול סלע באמת להודות לך יחדך ביהבה ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל
Find the Shema, page 155.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levcha, b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh. Asher Anochi Mitzvavecha Ayom Alevavecha Veshinantam Levanecha V'dibartam V'shivtecha V'beitecha U'lechtecha B'derech U'shachtecha U'kumecha U'shartam leot al yadecha V'hayu totafot b'neinecha U'taftam Amezuzot beitecha
U'vihisharecha. We join together in the English, page 155, the English V'ahavta together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We continue silently on 156. Middle of 156, you'll find the biblical instruction to wear the tzitzit. Again, as I mentioned earlier, tzitzit being a reminder of the mitzvot, the very mitzvot that Lily and Hayden take on upon themselves as Jewish adults today. That's what being a bar or bat mitzvah means, is you are a son or a daughter of the commandments of the mitzvot, and those mitzvot are now a part of their responsibility to continue forward as Jewish adults. So we join together in the paragraph right in the middle of 156, the Vayomer paragraph, that instruction to wear the tzitzit. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta lehem v'asu lahem tzitzit
Al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam v'natnu. Al tzitzit hakanaf patil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit. Or item oto, schartem et kol mitzvot Adonai, va'asitem otam, v'lo taturu, acharei levavchem, yacharei nechem, asher atem zonim achareihem, leman tizkeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Bitem kedoshim lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen.
Ledor vador hu kayam ushmo kayam v'chisod achol machuto v'emunato la'od kayam. Emad Shiatahu Adonai Eloheinu Elohe Avotenu V'imotenu Malakinu Melech Avotenu V'imotenu Goalenu Goel Avotenu V'imotenu Yotrenu Tzu Yeshuotenu Podenu Matzilenu Me'olam Shemecha Ein Elohim Zulatecha. Tehilot le'elayon baruch hu mevorach Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira besimcha rabah v'yamaru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osevele shira chadasha shebechugilim u'shimcha sefat hayam yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu v'yameru Sur Yisrael, Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufedechnu Mecha Yehuda Ve'Yisrael, Ko Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai Kal Yisrael.
We begin the Amidah together, page 159 on the left side, in the right side in the Hebrew, the left paragraph, the Patriarchs and Matriarchs, 159.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון, גומל חסדים וטובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד. מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים. ומתי אסוריים ומקיים אמונתו. עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך דו מלך, מלך ממית ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
161.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וכרז אל זה ויאמר.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו.
מועז בקורש גדול עדי וחזק משמיע בקול, מתנסים מיומת שרפים, לימתם ברוך יאמרו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ממקומו כנתופיה
ועינינו תהיינה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך.
לדור ודור, הללויה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לימוש לעולם ועד. כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני
We continue silently 162.
Chodesh hazeh. As I mentioned earlier, it is Shabbat. It is also the beginning of the new month, and it is, of course, Hanukkah. And that means we add these special Seder Hallel, special selections for celebration of our very happy occasions today. Page 316, you'll find Seder Hallel, again, our special service with psalms of rejoicing for the holidays and for the new month. So Cantor will lead us through Hallel on page 316 and following.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'alei.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'alei.
Mikimi mi'afar dal mi'ashpot yarim evion lehoshivi nedivim im denivei amo moshivi akeret habayit im habanim smecha hallelujah. B'tzeit Yisrael mitzrayim Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez Hayta Yehuda lekodsho Yisrael mamshelotav Hayam rahav Hayanos Hayarden Yisov le'achor Harim rakedu chelim Gevot kivenetzon Malech hayam Kitanus Hayarden Tisov le'achor Harim Tirkedu chelim Gevot kivnetzon Milifnei Adon Chuli haaretz Milifnei Eloi Yaakov Hahofchi Hatzor Agamayim Chalamish Le'maynomar
page 317 at the top. La la nu Adonai.
Yisrael betav Adonai Yisrael umaginam hu. Beit Aharon mitchu Adonai Yisrael umaginam hu. Yirei Adonai mitchu Adonai Yisrael umaginam hu.
Middle of 317.
Adonai zecharanu yevarech, yevarech et Beit Yisrael, yevarech et Beit Aharon, yevarech Yirei Adonai, hakatanim im hagdolim, yosef Adonai aleichem. Aleichem ve'al b'neichem, beruchim atem l'Adonai, oseh shamayim v'aretz, shamayim l'Adonai. Ve'aretz natan livnei Adam, lo hametim yehalleluya, lo kol yordei. ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה, אהבתי כשמה אדוני,
318.
את קולי תחנוני. אתהלך לפני אדוני בארצות החיים. האמנתי כי אדבר אני עניתי מאוד. אני אמרתי בחפזי כל האדם כוזב.
Bottom half of 318. Mashiv l'Adonai kol tumuhi alai kol shishuot asav
לך אזבח צבח תודה ובשם אדוני אקרא נדרי לאדוני השלם נגדנה לכל עמו בחצרות בית אדוני בתוכך ירושלים הללויה hallelujah
319.
hallelujah et Adonai kol goyim shabchu kol haorim ki gavar aleinu chasto ve'emet Adonai leolam, hallelujah. Ho to Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasto. Yomar na Yisrael ki leolam chasto. Yomru na ben Haron ki leolam chasdo. Yomru na yirei Adonai ki leolam chasdo min hametzar karatiyo.
We are on 320.
פיתחו לי שערי צדק אבוה מודיה זה השוער לאדוני צדיקים יבואו עודך כי עניתני ותהי לי ישועה עודך כי עניתני ותהי לי לישועה אבן מעשו הבונים הייתה לראש פינה אבן מעשו הבונים מאת אדוני הייתה זאת, היא נפלאת בעינינו. מאת אדוני הייתה זאת, היא נפלאת בעינינו. זה היום נקהילה ונשמחה בו, זה היום עשה אדוני. נקהילה ונשמחה בו, אדוני הושיענה. אדוני הושיענה. אדוני הצליחנה. אדוני הצליחנה. ברוך הבא בשם אדוני ברכנוכם מבית אדוני. אל אדוני ויעל לנו, אסרוך באבותים על קרנות המזבח. אלי אתה ויודעך אלוהי ארוממך. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו.
21.
כי לך הטוב להודו לרשימך לנו ולזמר. כי מאי עולם ויד עולם אתה אל. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מהולל בתשבחו.
We continue with Kaddish Shalem right in the middle of 321.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה, ילמד דברי חילותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון ובימיכון ובחייכו בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן הקריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויפואר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל תולות ונבואות לכל ישראל, כל דם אבוהון לי בשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
You are welcome to be seated. We've been standing for quite a long time, so we are going to take just a moment now, before we go into the Torah service, to talk a little bit about our Torah reading today. It's one that both Hayden and Lily have studied and are going to be reading parts of the Torah reading today. And as we get there, you will see again we have 3 Torahs we're taking out, but the parashah that we study first as part of Shabbat is Parashat Miketz, and in it we continue the saga of Joseph and his brothers in Egypt. I might be dating myself a little bit, but if you are into and have seen the wonderful musical, right, Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, how many people have seen that one, right? Or know the music to it? So this is part of the parashah where a lot of this comes from. The story of Joseph. So to review, Joseph has been sold into slavery by his brothers, who informed their father that Joseph had actually been killed by wild animals. So meanwhile, and if you remember the coat, right? They take the coat and they put blood on it, and here, Dad, look what happened. Meanwhile, what happens to Joseph? Well, he's sold into slavery and begins a new life in Egypt. And after a series of events, including the opportunity to show off his ability to interpret dreams, which we saw at the end of last week's portion in particular, Joseph becomes a high-ranking official in charge of the Egyptian storehouses of food. And when famine hits the land of Canaan, Joseph's brothers travel to Egypt in search of food, which everyone was doing at that point. And of course, who is the Egyptian official from whom they must request the food? None other than Joseph. Our modern-day television soap operas have nothing on this story. It's very exciting, right? So there it is. We're going to go. The brothers are going to come, and lo and behold, who they have to talk to? But their own brother. And although the brothers do not recognize Joseph, he's grown up, he's different, they don't recognize him from the outset, Joseph, of course, recognizes them. And he sets in motion an elaborate scheme. He accuses them of being spies, and he jails them, and he leaves one brother in prison, requires the others to return home and to bring back to Egypt the youngest brother. Anybody remember the name of the youngest brother? Benjamin, very nice. Benjamin, his father's beloved, right? Benjamin was also the son of Rachel, Jacob's beloved Rachel, who died in childbirth, giving birth to Benjamin. And now Joseph, as far as he knows, is no longer alive. So his precious son Benjamin, the youngest of the family, his father's beloved, Joseph orchestrates this whole scenario where the brothers have to now come and bring Benjamin to him. He also secretly returns the money that the brothers paid to him for food, making them fearful of being accused of stealing from the house of the overseer. And in the beginning of our Torah reading today, we find Joseph's plan in full motion as the brothers reluctantly return to Egypt with Benjamin, their father's favorite son. So here they come. Now, a question arises, what's the motive behind Joseph's elaborate setup? Why does he go to all this length to orchestrate this whole scenario? Why did he hide his identity and do all the things that he does to his brothers and in essence hurts his father as well, right? The brothers have to go back and say, hey, we can't get out of jail. We're in trouble if we don't take Benjamin back with us. So what else can Jacob do that brings such angst to him? And you wonder, was he involved in a cruel plot to get revenge on his brothers? Is that what Joseph was doing for selling him into slavery so many years ago? Or was this scheming and these mind games something meant for a different purpose? What's Joseph doing here is the question. You know the saying, 2 Jews, 3 opinions, right? 2 Jews, 3 opinions? Well, our commentators seem to disagree regarding Joseph's motives. No surprise, that's what our history is all about. The medieval Spanish commentator Bravanel considers Joseph's actions to be motivated by revenge, natural human emotion, right? Wouldn't you? You got sold into slavery, you were thrown in jail, all these things that happened to you, separated from your family. Bravanel points out the cruelty of Joseph's trickery, and he wonders why Joseph did not, at the very least, show more compassion for his father, who especially treasured Benjamin. For Bravanel, Joseph was simply bearing a grudge and doing all he could do to torture his brothers. Not a very good picture of Joseph in that respect. Okay, if you don't like that one, 2 Jews, 3 opinions, right? I've got another one for you. The commentator Ramban didn't like Bravanel's explanation either. He argues that Joseph's not guilty of cruel revenge, but he's simply carrying out the predictions forecast in his youthful dreams. Those of you who remember the musical, or you remember the story in general, what did Joseph dream? He dreamed that the sheaves and the sun and the moon and the 11 stars, what would they do? Right, they would bow down. They would bow down to Joseph, in essence, right? So Ramban suggests that Joseph hid his identity. He forced his brothers to bring Benjamin down to Egypt, not to be cruel, but simply as a way of making the dreams that he had, the predictions of his past, become a reality. Dreams, of course, were seen as divine in nature. So we have to look at it with a little bit of a different perspective than you or I might look at it in our dreams that we have at night, right? For our ancestors' dreams were divine in nature for sure, and if his brothers and father were to one day bow down before him as suggested, then Joseph himself has to put these motions into work that would fulfill that prophecy. All right, how many of you like that one? I don't see a lot of hands. Yeah, you're giving me the Okay. Well, if you don't like that one, here's the third one. Here's one last one. Of course, there's many others, but here's one last one. The modern commentator, Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, says that Joseph neither acted out of revenge nor as a call to fulfill his earlier dreams. What was he doing? According to Hirsch, Joseph put his brothers to the test in order to determine two things, two important matters. First, he wanted to know if they would do to Benjamin what they had done to him. Remember, Benjamin's the son of the beloved mother. The other brothers come from the other mom. We know Benjamin's been the favored one of Jacob for a long time. So Joseph's doing this so he could see, really, is Benjamin okay? How do the brothers treat him? And if so, if they treat him poorly, of course, what would that say to Joseph? That would say that he can't trust them, nor could he forgive them for what they did to him. Second piece, he needed to test how they would react when and if, as a ruler in Egypt, he revealed himself as their brother. So putting Benjamin aside, would the brothers trust him? Would they be loyal to him? Would they seek to destroy him again? Or would they love him? Would they embrace him? If we look at the story this way, then all of Joseph's trickery and his seeming cruel plan was really a way to protect himself, to protect his position in Egypt, which was a high position at that point, and to protect his family that he already now had. He had established his own family. He acted out of wisdom and cautiousness, suggests Rabbi Hirsch, not out of spite or revenge. So whichever view of Joseph's actions we take, and we could certainly take a poll, and there will be many, certainly other midrashim, other explanations that we could set upon us, the story nevertheless sets before us the choice between revenge and letting grudges fall in favor of compassion and of caring. When we are wronged by someone, we too, like Joseph, are faced with a decision of how to act. How do we treat those who have hurt us in the past? How do we protect ourselves from being hurt again? These are all natural human emotions and natural human actions. So as we study the text this morning, consider the actions of Joseph. Give thought to what you might do when faced with a similar situation. How would you react? What would your behavior be? How would you see the scenario setting up? So we'll keep it in mind as we move into the Torah service. You'll find Seder Hota'at Torah, our service for taking out and studying the Torah. Find it on page 168. I'll remind you that if you're coming to the Bima for an honor that you or to participate, you make sure you have a head covering on, as is our practice, and certainly a mask. 168, as Hayden and Lily lead us, we rise. 168.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai v'ein k'maasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai meloch le'olam v'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom Arachamim heitiva v'ratzonecha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim tivnei chomot. Yerushalayim. כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך הרם ונישא אתונו.
Vayehi bin soah ha'aron, vayomer Moshe.
Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu
Oivecha,
v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha.
ki misyon tetzei Torah. Ki misyon tetzei Torah. Udavar Adonai Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah L'amo
Yisrael, B'Kedushato. Adonai, as we stand before the Aron HaKodesh on this Shabbat of celebration, Shabbat of Rosh Chodesh, and Shabbat of Hanukkah, may we behold the wonders of your Torah. Endow us with wisdom so that we may come to understand the Torah's precepts and learn to live by its teachings. Give us the vision and the insight to discover new meanings that will enhance our lives with purpose. May we take the Torah to heart, ever mindful of our charge to learn, to teach, and to preserve our sacred heritage for both ourselves and for the generations that are yet to come. We recite together the bracha that reminds us that it is a mitzvah to study Torah and that it is indeed a precious gift for us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok divrei Torah. Amen. We continue Be'an Arachetz, the bottom of page 170.
Be'anarachetz Velishmei Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Anamar Tushbechai Be'anarachetz Be'anarachetz Velishmei Kadisha Kadisha Yakira Anamar Tushbechai Yehi Ra'ava Detiv Tachlibi Be'oiraheta Betashli Mishalin Delibi Velibadechol Amach Yisrael Letavul Echayin Velishlam Amen.
Udvarav chayim v'kayamim, al avotenu ve'alenu, al benenu ve'al doratenu. God's teachings are precious and everlasting. The Torah is God's eternal gift passed down from our ancestors to us, from grandparents to parents, and from parents to child, through all the generations of the Jewish people. Today, Hayden and Lily accept their role as a chain, as a link in the chain of the generations as the Sefer Torah is placed in their arms and the words of the Torah are implanted in their hearts. The words of Danny Siegel, may your eyes sparkle with the light of Torah and your ears hear the music of its words. May the space between each letter of the scrolls bring warmth and comfort to your soul. May the syllables draw holiness from your heart, and may this holiness be gentle and soothing to the world. May your study be passionate,
and the meanings bear more meanings until life itself arrays itself to you as a dazzling wedding feast. And may your conversation, even of the commonplace, be a blessing to all who listen to your words and see the Torah glowing in your face. Page 171, you'll find Shema Echad Gadlu. We repeat after each of the first two lines as Lily and Hayden leave us. 1, 2, 3, loud. Wait. Take off the masks so I can hear you. Okay? Take it off. Thank you. Smile.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti, unerom ema Shemo yachdav.
Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Kicho B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Kicho B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Ve'amit na'aseh lechol erosh romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtachavu la'adom raglav kadoshu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtachavu lehar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
On the shulchan and in the holders, you may be seated. If you remember to keep the question of Joseph's motives in mind, and we're going to begin the study of Miketz, kind of in the middle of the story. We're in the return of Joseph's brothers to Egypt, and with them this time, of course, is their brother Benjamin. Remember again, Benjamin being Rachel's son, Joseph's younger brother, and it sets again up that scenario for understanding whether Joseph's brothers, how they react to him, how they will react to him when they know who he really is. So we're going to begin our Torah reading right at that point.
Yazor v'yogein v'oshialo simbo v'nomar Amen. Hakol ohu godel Eloheinu nukavo v'torah Yamdu Hana bat Sarah v'yad Abraham ben Shimon HaKohen Baruch shenotam Torah le'amo Yeshua b'kdushato V'atem avekim Adonai Elohim hayim kol heim ayom.
For the Kohen Aliyah this morning, the congregation and the B'nai Mitzvah families honor Catherine and Andy Cohen. The Torah reading for the Kohen Aliyah may be found page 265 beginning verse 16. The Torah reader is Micah Hickey.
Berkowitz Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Bakarbanu Mikol Amim Benatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayar Yosef itam et Benyamin. Vayomer lasher abeto habet anashim habaita utvo achtavach vechachem kiati yochlu anashim bet zaharaim. Vayas haish kasher amar Yosef vayaveh haish. Et hanashim baita Yosef vayaru hanashim kitu bait Yosef vayamru. All the Barkasef Hasher Bam Techotenu Batlicha Anak Muvim Litzkalalenu Litzapalenu Velechet Atnu La Avdin Ve'et Chamorinu.
Yeah.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah Emet. V'kayei Olam Natan B'Tokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Yamdu Ekala Bat Shalom Ovaleya Yed Abraham Ayer Ben Pesach Vayidka Levi.
So the second Aliyah, the brothers prepare to meet with the overseer of food, which of course is Joseph, and they express their fear at the prospect of preparing before him. Why were they so scared? Well, remember when they left Egypt the first time with food, they found the money that they had used to purchase the rations hidden back in their bags. So here they are returning. They don't know how the money got back in there, but they're nervous about that. And unknown to them, of course, this was yet part of the whole scenario, the trick that Joseph was playing on them. So you'll find this in this next second Aliyah. And hidden.
For the Levi Aliyah this morning, the Congregation of the B'nai Mitzvah family honor Richard and Alice Thorner, grandparents of the B'nai Mitzvah. The reading for the Levi Aliyah may be found page 265, beginning verse 19. The Torah reader is Micah Hickey. No? No. It's Logan Morris. Sorry, Logan.
Where are we doing? Baruch es Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Leolam Vahed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher bocha bonu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayikshul ha'ish asher al beit Yosef vaydaberu elai petach havayim v'amru bi Adoni yara yaranu bahila lisbar oka vayahi kivenu el malon vayinasher el omtochon v'hine kesav ish b'fei amtatenu kaspenu b'amtochotenu v'nasher ocho bayodenu V'chesef acher haranu be'odenu lisbar okel lo yodenu misham kaspenu bam techotenu ve'yomer shalom lachem el taro al tarehem aleichem nita lachem matmo be'al techem kaspechem be'li be'odenu aleichem at shimon ve'oei ahish et hashamayim v'yoter Yosef v'yotei v'yartzi Rablehem natanan matzbio la'ortechem v'yohinu et machan yad b'yam Yosef v'yilehem kishamu kisham v'arlu lachem.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emes v'chayei olam notam b'tzokenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yamdu Tova bat Elkalava Abraham Meyer, Malka Lily bat Tova Aviv Lev, Shalishi.
Logan and Hayden. You'll see now here in the third Aliyah, Joseph sees his brother Benjamin for the very first time. What does he do? He actually places a blessing upon him. You can imagine it must be quite an emotional moment for him when he sees his brother for the very first time, his little brother that he hadn't seen since he was young.
For the third Aliyah this morning, the congregation of the B'nai Mitzvah family honor Tracy Morris and Logan Morris. The reading for the third Aliyah may be found on page 266, beginning verse 26, and the Torah reader is Hayden Morris.
Baruch Adonai Havarach. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Barcha Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayavo Yosef הביתה, ויביאו לו את המנחה אשר בידם הביתה, וישתחוו לו ארצה, וישאל להם לשלום, ויאמר השלום. אביכם הזקן אשר אמרתם, העודנו חי, ויאמרו שלום. לעבדך לאבינו עודנו חי, ויקדו וישתחוו, ויישא עיניו וירא את בנימין אחיו בן אמו, ויאמר הזה אחיכם הקטן אשר אמרתם אלי, ויאמר אלוהים יחנך בני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'heyeh olam nata betokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Give him a hug. Give him a kiss.
Yamdu Rachel Hava Bet Elkalava Abraham Meyer Shalomo Yaakov Ben Rachel Hava Revi'i.
So in this Revi'i Aliyah, Joseph invites his brothers to join him in a meal at his home. And to their amazement, Joseph placed the brothers at the table not only in the order of their birth, from oldest to the youngest, but grouped according to who their mother was. So how did Joseph do this without giving himself away, without the brothers catching on that this was Joseph? Well, according to the Midrash, Joseph took his goblet and pretended to smell it, an act that indicated he was practicing divination, right? So he was doing magic, if you will. And this would be akin to reading someone's palms or tea leaves, or in modern terms, being a psychic. So the brothers marvel at Joseph's talent for divination, but since it was a popular practice in Egypt, they certainly would not have questioned this ability and to know the unknowable. It's an interesting exchange in the fourth Aliyah.
And for the fourth Aliyah this morning, the congregation of the B'nai Mitzvah families honor Robin Thorner, John Locurto, and Sam Locurto. The reading for the fourth Aliyah may be found page 267, beginning verse 30. And the Torah reader is Lily Locurto.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Time of hair, Yosef nichmeru rachamav el achiv vayvakesh livko vayavo achara vayakshama vayarchat panav vayetze vayitapak vayomer simu lahem Vayishma'u lo levado, velahem levadam, velamitrim ha'ochlim, ito levadam, ki lo yuchlon, hamitraim lechel et ha'ivrim lechem, ki toeva hi lemitraim, vayishbu lefanav habhor kiporato, vahatair kitirato, Vayitme'u hanashim esh are'ehu, vayisa masa me'e panav elehem, vaterev masad binyamin mimasod hulam hamisha yadot vayishkeru
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam atah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua. We're going to pause for Mishabach. Yep. Hold on a minute. We're going to pause for Mishabach for our Cholim at this moment. As we say Yashakach to Lily on her Torah reading. Mishabach avotenu v'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka v'Rachel Leah Yivarech v'Yirpeh et kol hacholim. Aryeh ben Shmuel Aviva Rachel bat Avraham v'Tova Bela bat Surah bat Yaleah bat Esther Bela bat Malka Chaim Shmuel ben Leah Yocheved Chana bat Daniel ben Sarah Fege Riva bat Basha Feivel ben Rachel, Frido bat Moshe, Hadassah bat Realeah, Hinda bat Chava, Leah bat Yehudit, Malka bat Zev, Masha bat Zisamharel, Moshe ben Miriam, Nechama Sarah bat David, Nechoma bat Yaakov, Perel bat Tama, Pesi Mendel bat Binyamin v'Rachel, Pinchas Velvel ben Leah, Rachel bat Devorah, Rachel bat Yehudit Chaya, Rifael ben Wolf, Rachel Chenya bat Noah Ufega, Shendel bat Golda, Shimon ben Chana, Shoshana bat Pearl, Tova bat Sarah, Tzipporah bat Sarah, Yechezkel ben Sarah, Yehudit Golda bat Elka, Yoel ben Yosef, Zivia Miriam bat Abigail Batya, Barbara Arno, Kara Roslyn Argo, Carol Heil, Daniela Valdez Vasquez, Eddie Halfant, Elaine Marin, Elaine Munoz, Elna King, Gary Rosenthal, George Busey, Jill Testa, Kimberly Lang, Kinneret Kelman, Lindsay Argo, Maria Beck, Marion Braun, Mark Hermelin, Margot Adams, Marvin Jalnos, Mary Young, Marlene Alstasher, Michael Hardy, Myrna Alweiss, Rosario Vasquez, Sarah Ibarra, Sharon Abelo, Sharon Hermelin, and any names we recite aloud or within our hearts at this moment. HaKadosh Yimolei Rachamim Aleichem L'Hachzikam Rapotam Yishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema L'Chovreihem V'Gideihem B'Toch Shar Cholei Yisrael Refuat HaNefesh V'Refuat HaGuf V'Nomar Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, grant the blessing of healing and health to all whose names we recited aloud or had within our thoughts at this time. May God be with them and with those who care for them. May the Holy One strengthen them, bring them healing of body and soul and spirit, together with all others who are ill, whether in the hospital or at home. And together we say, Amen.
Bat Zvi, Viet Ruvain, Pesach, Baron, David, Kamishi.
Joseph's deception continues as he again sends off his brothers with money hidden in their food bags. But there's an extra special item secretly placed in Benjamin's bag. It is Joseph's golden goblet. Again, an uncomfortable scenario for the boys once they discover what is in their bags.
And for the fifth Aliyah this morning, the congregation and the B'nai Mitzvah family honor Linda and Richard Morris, Hayden's grandparents. The reading for the fifth Aliyah may be found on page 268, chapter 44, verse 1. First line, page 268. The Torah reader is Sam Lokurto.
Baruch es Adonai Barak.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'cha banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayetzav et asher al beito lemor. Male et antechot ha'anashim ochel. Ka'asher yuhlun se'et. Vesim kesef ish befi amtachto. V'et gevia hakesef. Tasim befi amtachat hakaton. V'et kesef shiro. Vaya'as kidvar Yosef asher diber. Haboker or v'ha'anashim shulchu. Hema v'hamorehem. Hem yatzu et ha'ir lo hirhiku. Ve'yosef amar la'asher al beito. Kum redov acharei ha'anashim. Ve'hisagtam ve'amarta alehem. Lama shilamtem ra'a tachat tova. Halozeh asher yishte adoni bo. Vehu nahesh bo. Hareotem asher asitem. Vayasigim vaydaber alehem. Et hadavarim ha'eleh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chei olam noten haTorah. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
In this next Aliyah, Joseph's ruse continues as the brothers are accused of stealing now from the grand overseer, which of course is Joseph.
Yamdu Shvi'i.
We invite up
For the sixth Aliyah this morning, the Congregation of the B'nai Mitzvah family honor Heather Kobe, Lisa Friedman, Leslie Hickey, Kang Chesler, Suzanne Patrick, and Sarah Larish. The reading for the sixth Aliyah may be found page 268, beginning verse 7. The Torah reader is Cantor Ken Cohen.
We know any trip to Israel becomes a bonding experience. So this is, I know, the wonderful people that you all traveled with to Israel on your Momentum trip.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamorah. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayamru elav lama yedaber Adoni kadvarim ha'ele. Chalila le'avadecha masot kadavar hazeh hein kezef. Asher matzanu befi am techotenu. Heshivonu elecha me'eretz Kenaan ve'yech. Nigenov mi beit Adonecha kesef ozahav. Asher yimatzeito me'avadecha v'ameit. Ve'gam anachnu nhiel Adoni lavadim. Vayomer gam atach divrechem ken hu. Asher yimatzeito yeli aved ve'atem tiyu nekiim. Vaymaharu vayoredu ish et atmatachto artsa vayiftechu ish amtachto vaychapes vagadol haechel uvakaton kilam Yimatzoi ha'anaviyah be'amtachat binyamin ויקראו שמלותם, ויעמוס איש חמורו, וישובו העירו. ויבוא יהודה ואחיו בית יוסף, והוא עודנו שם, ויפלו לפניו ארצה. ויאמר להם יוסף, מה המעשה הזה אשר עשיתם? הלא ידעתם כי נחש איש אשר כמונו. ויאמר יהודה, מה נאמר לאדוני, מה נדבר ומה נסתדק? האלוהים, מצא את עוון עבדיך, הננו עבדים לאדוני, גם אנחנו, גם אשר ימצא הגביע בידו. ויאמר חלילה לי מעשות זאת, האיש אשר נמצא הגביע בידו, הוא יהיה לי עבד. אתם עלו לשלום אל אביכם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
We're going to rise for just a moment as we take the Torah and place the Torah on the Shulchan, and as we lift and tie the first Sefer Torah.
Yamot Shlomo Tzvi ben Avi Lev Tova Shvi'i.
To lift and tie the first of our Torahs this morning, the congregation of the B'nai Mitzvah families honor Lizette and Brian Fell.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 תורה ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה.
You may be seated. As it is both Rosh Chodesh and Hanukkah today, you see we shortened the regular Torah reading to 6 Aliyot instead of 7, so that we have the opportunity to read the special selection for the new month for Shabbat, rather, and then we'll have a special selection, of course, for Hanukkah. So the 7th Aliyah is the special selection for Rosh Chodesh, or the new month of Tevet.
And the reading for the 7th Aliyah may be found page 930, beginning verse 9. The Torah reader is Hayden Morris, and we honor Hayden with this Aliyah.
We now formally call Hayden to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. Yahamod, Yahamod, Habachor Habar Mitzvah, Shlomo Tzvi ben Avilev Tova Hashvi'it, Chazak Chazak B'ni Chazek.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah. Uvayom HaShabbat Shnei Chavasim B'nei Shana Tamimim U'Shnei Esronim Solat Mincha Belula B'Shemen V'Nisko Olat Shabbat B'Shabbato Alolat Tatamid V'Niska Uvrashe Chodshechem Takrivu Olat Ladonai Parim B'nei Bakar Shnayim V'Ayil Echad Kevasim B'nei Shana Shiv'a Tamimim U'Shlosha Esronim Solat Mincha Belula B'Shemen Lapar Ha'achad U'Shnei Esronim Solat Mincha Belula B'Shemen La'ayil Ha'echad V'Saron Isaron Solat Mincha Belula B'Shemen La'keves Ha'achad Olat Reach Nichoach Asher Adonai V'Nizkehem Chatzi Tahin Yehye Lapar U'Shlishi Tahin La'ayil Revi Tahin La'keves Yain Zotolat Chodesh B'Chodsho Le'Chodshe Hashana U'S'ir Izim Echad Le'Chatet L'Adonai Olat Atamid Yaseh V'Nizko. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We rise as we place the third Torah scroll on the shulchan and we recite Chatzi Kaddish.
Yikada v'yikada shmei rabba Be'alma divra kirotev yamich malchuteh B'chayechon v'yomecha U'b'chayei dechot Beit Yisrael Bagala U'vizman karib V'yimeru amen Yehei shmei rabba mevorah Le'olam u'amei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitar v'yitaman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal Shemei Kudisha b'richu Le'olam mikol v'yiracha v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata Damiran be'alma v'yimeru amen.
No Hagba V'Hagolil Sefer Sheni.
And to lift and tie the second of the Torahs this morning, the congregation of the B'nai Mitzvah families honor Sharon and Doug Conti.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 לה. וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
You may be seated. The special Maftir Aliyah for the 6th day of Hanukkah describes the dedication of the tabernacle in the wilderness, a reminder to us of the rededication of the temple that was performed by the Maccabees. And that is the link, of course. The holiday of Hanukkah is not in the Torah, so we go back to readings that will remind us of that experience. And so this maftir, you will see, comes from the book of Numbers, from that dedication ceremony of the tabernacle. As we did with Hayden, we now formally call Lily to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. Ta'amod, ta'amod, habachura bat mitzvah, Leah iska bat Rachel v'chava, hamaftir, chazak chazak v'nid chazek.
The Maftir reading for Lily will be found on page 808, beginning verse 42. Lily, of course, is the Maftir honoree as the Aliyah and the Torah reader.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Bayom hashishi nachsi livnei God El Yasaf ben Deuel Korbano Kara'at Kesef Achat Sheloshim Umea Mishkala Mizrak Echad Kesef Shivim Shekel Beshekel HaKodesh Shnehem Meleim Solet Belula Bashemen Lemincha Kaf Achat Asarat Zahav Melea Ketoret Par Echad Ben Bachar El Echad Keves Echad Ben Shanato Leola Seirizim Echad Lechatat Uzeva Hashlamim Bachar Shnaim Elim Hamisha Atodim Hamisha Korban Kevasim Ben Ishana Ben Shah Zekorban El Yasaf Ben Deuel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata betocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Yamdu amagviyavahagole el sefer lishi.
And to lift and tie the third of the Sefer Torah this morning, the congregation and the B'nai Mitzvah families honor Sammy and Idan Mazus. Please rise.
We rise.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה.
As the Torahs are in the holder and being held, you may be seated.
Good morning. The Haftorah tells a famous story about King Solomon. When Solomon became king, he prays and asks to be wise. That's why the story starts at the ark. He is praying so that he can be a good king. He is tested right away when two women come to him. Now, before I go any further, I have to say that I think these are just women. Sometimes they are called prostitutes. I don't think so. They are just women and they need the king's help. Because the story doesn't mention their husbands, doesn't make them prostitutes. That's what I think. So the two women ask King Solomon to decide which one of them is the real mother of a new baby. In the story, one of the women accidentally smothers her baby in her sleep, and then steals the baby from the other woman. They come to King Solomon and both tell him that the baby is theirs. They want Solomon to decide who is the real mother. This brings me to the famous part of the story. King Solomon says he can't decide, so he will split the baby and give each woman half. One woman says, okay, that's fair. The other says, no way, because she doesn't want the baby to be hurt. She says to give the baby to the other lady. The king knows that the second woman is the mother because only a mother would be willing to give up her baby to save its life. That's a pretty good trick he did, and it showed his wisdom to the people of Israel. Most people think of King Solomon's solution is the point of the story, but I want to focus on something else. King Solomon was wise even before he solved the baby problem. He went to the ark to pray, and in his prayer he asked for wisdom instead of money or land or more power. He could have asked for anything, but he didn't. He asked for things that would make him a good king. This shows that he already had wisdom in him, just like the mother in the story. She was also wise, and not a prostitute. She did not want her baby to be cut in half, so she knew what she had to do. She had to say that the other woman could have the baby in order to save it. This was brave and wise, and it shows that all people can be wise. You don't have to be a king to do the right thing. That's what the story means to me. In my life, I have lots of wise people who help me and do the right things. And just like in the story, I would like to start by telling you about two wise women and to thank them both because I cannot be standing here without them. First, I want to thank my mother. She is very wise like King Solomon, and sometimes she may want to split me in half with a sword too. Just kidding. She never threatens me with a sword, but she is really wise. She follows the rules most of the time, and she doesn't let other people's opinions get in her way. She is her own person, and I want to be like that. She is loving and caring and always puts other people first, especially me. Second, I want to thank my aunt. I call her Titi. She is also very wise. I probably have to say that because she is my English teacher, but I really do mean it. She takes me to Starbucks before school. That's not why she is wise, I just like Starbucks. She is strong and has my back when I need a hug or to complain. She can be tough on Tuesday mornings when she makes me study for Wordly Wise, but it usually helps me get a good grade, so she must know what she's doing. She's smart and funny, and I want to be like that as well. And then there's my dad. Even though he is not Jewish, he helped me get here by bringing me to synagogue and helping me find my words for this speech. He helps me with school projects, and even if sometimes makes me cry during math homework, he pushes me and never gives up. He also taught me how to gamble. I'm not sure that makes him a good dad. No. I'm not sure that makes him wise, but it does make him a really fun dad. My nanny and poppy, Richard and Alice Thorner, are also very wise, patient, and generous. They spoil me even when I don't deserve it and always make me smile. Next is my brother Sam. I can't believe his bar mitzvah was over 2 years ago. He never lets me down. He always checks on me when I'm upset, and he teaches me things like how to play video games, and he is kind. That's his best wisdom, being kind. Next is my cousin Logan. She is like an older sister to me, much more than a cousin. I know we are very alike in many ways, which is why we sometimes need some space, but I love her and will always come back to her. Hayden. I'm so happy that I got to do this with you. You always help me, For example, sometimes when I don't understand my math homework, you will re-explain it to me and help me realize what I was doing wrong. Even if every time you see me, you tell me how short I am compared to you, I really enjoy having you around. A special thank you goes to everyone who helped me on this journey, especially Rabbi Cohen and Cantor Ken, for teaching me everything I needed to know so that I could get to this day. Finally, I want to thank everyone who is here, in person and virtually. The last 2 years have been really hard, but seeing you all here today makes me feel a lot better. Standing here in front of the ark, I feel like King Solomon, but without the sword. That would be a bad idea. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah. You will find the Haftorah on page 271 in your Chumash. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nbiim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai havocher b'torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nbiei ha'emet b'tzedek.
ויקרא שלמה והנה חלום ויעבור ירושלים ויעמוד לפני ארון ברית אדוני ויעל עולות ויעש עלמים ויעש משתה לכל עבדיו אז תבואנה 2 נשים זונות אל המלך ותעמודנה לפניו. ותאמר האישה האחת בי אדוני, אני והאישה הזאת יושבות בבית אחד, ואלד עמה בבית. ויהי ביום השלישי ללידתי ותלד גם האישה הזאת, ואנחנו יחדיו אין זר איתנו בבית זולתי 2 אנחנו בבית. וימות בן האישה הזאת לילה אשר שכבה עליו. ותקום בתוך הלילה ותיקח את בני מאצלי ואת אמתך ישנה ותשכיבהו בחיקה, ואת בנה המת השכיבה בחיקי. ואקום בבוקר להניק את בני, והנה מת, ואת בונן אליו בבוקר, והנה לא היה בני אשר ילדתי.
ותאמר האישה האחרת לו כי בני החי ובני המת, וזאת אומרת לו כי בני המת ובני החי, ותדברנה לפני המלך. ויאמר המלך, זאת אומרת זה בני החי ובני המת. וזאת אומרת לו היא בני המת ובני החי. ויאמר המלך, קחו לי חרב, ויביאו החרב לפני המלך. ויאמר המלך, גזרו את הילד החי לשניים, ותנו את החצי לאחת ואת החצי לאחת. ותאמר האישה אשר בנה החי אל המלך, כי נחמרו רחמיך על בנה. ותאמר בי אדוני, תנו לה את הילוד החי, והמת אל תמיתוהו. וזאת אומרת גם לי גם לה לא יהיה גזרו. ויען המלך ויאמר, תנו לה את הילוד החי, והמת לא תמיתוהו, היא אמו. וישמעו כל ישראל את המשפט אשר שפט המלך, ויראו מפני המלך, כי ראו כי חוכמת אלוהים בקרבו לעשות משפט. ויהי המלך שלמה מלך על כל ישראל.
You'll find the brachot following the Haftarah, page 175 in your Siddur, 175.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, tzur kol ha'amim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'oseh, ha'medaber m'kayem, shechol devarav emet v'tzedek, ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם, כי על מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו, ולעלו אהבת נפש תושיע, במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני, משמח ציון בבניה. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו, באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסאו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכברנו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן דוד, על התורה וההודאה ועל נביאים, ועל השבת הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה ולכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
With an arch.
Mazel tov, simin tavu, mazel tavu, mazel tavu, simin tavu, simin tavu, mazel tavu, mazel tavu, simin tavu, simin tavu, mazel tavu, mazel tavu, simin tavu. Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, yehei lanu, v'chol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, v'chol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, v'chol Yisrael. Yehei
I got hit in the forehead twice.
Yeah, take the mask off. I saw that.
By Ezra and Tyler.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh, I didn't collect any to get revenge.
Sure, visitors who've never seen that before are going, what? Really? That's our way of showering sweetness, blessings upon our B'nai Mitzvah. Maybe a little bit crazy, but it's fun. As you know, we ask each of our B'nai Mitzvah to share words of Torah with us, and Lily did that as an introduction to the Haftarah, and Hayden now stands on the bima as our teacher for his perspective on the Haftarah and his very important message for us to hear of his words. So, shh.
Count me down. Count me down. Count me down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good morning. The Haftarah for this Shabbat was taken from 1 Kings and tells the story of when King Solomon's wisdom is put to the test for the first time. As Lily related earlier, it begins when 2 mothers give birth to their firstborn. During the night, one mother rolled over on her baby and killed it. When she woke to nurse her child, she realized it was dead. She then took the dead baby and laid it by the side of the other mother and took the living baby as her own child. As mothers know their own children, the duped mother knew that the dead baby was not hers. In order to resolve this squabble, they came before the king and asked him for his wisdom. When most people look at this from the perspective of the king, I decided to look at this from the perspective of their mothers and their need to ask for guidance. To bring an end to their dispute, the 2 women sought out help, today often seen as a sign of weakness or incompetence. However, it should be viewed as the opposite. I see asking for help as a sign of strength and resourcefulness. In my life, there have been many people who have not asked for help, and it has led to negative consequences for them. Feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or afraid are things that you should not have to suffer with without the help of someone else. At the beginning of quarantine, the isolation made me feel sad and depressed, yet I did nothing about it. My problems only escalated. At one point, I built up the courage to tell my mom and have her help me. Things quickly turned around when I was able to talk about how I felt with professionals and people who really cared about me. This applies to my Haftarah portion because the 2 mothers had to build up the courage to go to King Solomon and ask for help. In today's society, people are too often unwilling to ask for help for fear that they will be seen as weak and incapable of doing their jobs. As someone who is in favor of destigmatizing mental health issues, my willingness to ask for help has made me someone my friends can talk to and trust. It is important for people to know that they are not alone and will always have other people to turn to when life feels difficult. My mitzvah project is supporting an organization that does just that. The Children's Bereavement Center of San Antonio is a place families can turn to when grieving the loss of a loved one. This is very personal to me, and I'm asking that people donate to this organization or buy items off of their Amazon wish list to allow the Bereavement Center to continue to do their amazing work. Speaking of asking for help, I would like to thank the many people who made this day possible. To the 3 Comans, Rabbi, Cantor, and Jeff. Thank you for your guidance, for helping me prepare for this day. It was with your guidance that I was able to stand up here and not make half of it up. To my friends, I'd like to thank you for always having my back and making me laugh. Most of you have been part of my life since I moved to San Antonio. A special thank you to Micah for reading from the Torah today. You did a great job. Nenny, I'd like to say thank you for everything you have done for me. There's no question you would give me the shirt off your back and then yell at me when I don't know where I put it. You put everyone's needs before your own and make the family feel loved and especially well fed. Poppy, you filled in the role of being a father figure to me. Your dedication to your family and your willingness to go above and beyond has set an example for the man I would like to be. Plus, I like to take your poker chips while adding points to your Starbucks account. Grandma and Pop-Up, thank you for making it to San Antonio for our B'nai Mitzvah. I know it's hard for you guys to be so far away, and I hope that visits can become more frequent in the near future. Pop-up. I look forward to playing golf with you as time goes on. Next, to the other half of this whole operation. I'd like to thank every member of the Lacrio family, including the trio of puppers at home. Thank you for helping me get somewhat of a sense of humor and teaching me so many new vocabulary words, none of which I will share here today. I love you guys for always being a second home to me and for accepting and loving all the weird parts of me. Sam, you are like my brother. I am grateful to have you in my life and hope one day to be as tall as you. Lily, I'm so happy that I pushed back my bar mitzvah to be able to share this day with you. We will always be better than the bigs. Sister, you all right? Mom, just kidding. Logan, our lives have not always been easy, but we were always there for each other and were able to navigate a better way together. You challenge me to be a better person and are always trying to make me more chill. I know we don't always get along, but I don't know where my life would be without you. I love you. Mom, I'm at a loss of words of where to begin. You are my greatest role model and inspiration in life. You continue to impress me with your strength and strive and ability to put up with two angsty teenagers most of the time. I can only hope to one day be as half as great of a parent that you are. Even when you are yelling at me to do simple tasks like shower, I am amazed by your drive. I am so thankful for the love you have bathed me in for these past 13 years. I love you so much, and I might even say that I love you more than lemons. So thank you for being the leader of my support system. Lastly, thank you to everyone who came today, either in person or online. It means so much to me and my family that you were part of the celebration. Happy Hanukkah and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I told you it was an amazing message. We flip things a little bit. We're going to turn forward in our Siddur to 177, and just as Hayden shared words of thanks, in essence, we give words of thanks in the form of a prayer for our country, of the gifts that living here in America gives us, affords us, and certainly the gifts of the state of Israel in our modern world, as well as prayer for peace. So we invite up Valerie and John Curto, if you'll come forward, Lily's grandparents, to lead us in the prayer for the country. Here you go. Give you the big book.
Morning. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy, accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessing upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land.
Adonai, God, whose spirit is in all creatures, we pray that your spirit be awakened within all the inhabitants of our land. Together, uproot from our hearts hatred and malice, jealousy and strife, plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the many peoples and faiths who dwell in our nation. Grant us the knowledge to judge justly, the wisdom to act with compassion, and the understanding and courage to root out poverty from our land.
May it be your will that our land be a blessing to all who dwell on earth, and may you cause all peoples to dwell in friendship and freedom. Speedily fulfill the vision of your prophets. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For all of them, from the least of them to the greatest, shall know me. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Shkach. Page 178, the top, you'll find the prayer for the state of Israel. We invite up Jamie Morris, Hayden's aunt. If you'll come forward, the top of 178.
A prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shei Ba Shemayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people of Israel. Bless the state of Israel, that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say,
Amen. Shkach. You'll see on the bottom of page 178 a special prayer for peace. We invite up Lily's grandmother, Susan Wilhoit, and Lauren Carucci, aunt, to lead us responsively in this reading on the bottom of 178.
A prayer for peace. May we see the day when war and bloodshed cease, when a great peace will embrace the whole world.
Then nation will not threaten nation, and the human family will not again know war.
For all who live on earth shall realize we have not come into being to hate or to destroy. We have come into being to praise, to labor, and to love.
Compassionate God, bless the leaders of all nations with the power of compassion.
Fulfill the promise conveyed in Scripture. I will bring peace to the land, and you shall lie down, and no one shall terrify you.
I will rid the land of vicious beasts, and it shall not be ravaged by war.
Let justice and righteousness flow like a mighty stream. Let God's peace fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. If you'll turn to page 181, there you'll find the concluding part of our Torah service. We ask Lily and Hayden to come on back up to the center Amud, center Bima, on the Bima. And if you'll, congregation will turn to 181, there you'll find Ashrei, and I'd like to invite up any of our B'nai Mitzvah, past, present, future friends that want to join Lily and Hayden and give them some support. If you're a bar bat mitzvah from this past year or so, or 2 years, and anticipating a bar bat mitzvah in the year to come, please come up. You are part of the B'nai Mitzvah class. It's your honor and our honor to have you up here. And again, I know you have a lot of ECLA friends here, guys, so you're welcome to come on up as well. As we turn to page 181, we join responsively in Ashrei.
Ashreyam shekachalo, Ashreyam she'Adonai Eloha. B'chol yom avarcheka, v'al hashimecha le'olam va'ed. Tor le'tor yishavach ma'asecha, u'gevuratecha
yagidu.
Be'ezuz nerotecha yomeru, u'gevuratecha hasaprena. Chanu rachum Adonai, erech hapayim ugdal chesed. Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yevarchucha. Lehodia livnei Adam gevurotav, u'gevor hadar malchuto. Somech Adonai lechol hanoflim, v'zokef lechol hakfufim. פותח את ידיך ומשביע לכל הרצון. קרוב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יגרעוהו באמת. שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, את כל הרשעים ישמיד. ואנחנו נברך ים מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
We rise for Seder Haknasat Torah as we return the Torah scrolls to the Aron HaKodesh. We are on page 183 as the Aron HaKodesh is open.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. אותו על ארץ ושמה, וירם קרן לימו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל המקרו. ובנוחו יאמר.
As the Aron HaKodesh is closed, you are welcome to be seated. All of you on the bima, you can go on back down, but we'll get you back up here for the end of the service, so don't go too far. You guys are gonna hang over here. We always, of course, have the opportunity to, or give the opportunity to our parents to be able to address their children during such an important moment in their lives. There's certainly they have the opportunity at parties and at other times, but here on the bima in this holy space, it takes on different meaning. And so we pause now as Lily and Hayden hear words from their parents. I'll leave it at that.
I'm going to start with you. Lily, it feels like yesterday when your parents let me know you were going to be adding to our family with your arrival. Since those days back in Virginia, I've watched you grow from that small, hard-headed, sassy spitfire to a teenage-sized, hard-headed, sassy spitfire. We have a special bond, one that I take great pride in. I love you when you are laughing. I love you when you are grumpy, and I am proud of you every moment in between. We're gonna have the best time when we move in together in a few years. Just Lily and her Aunt Titi, who always loves to save your day. I love you and Sam like you are my own. I love you. Hi. Hi. Little man, like most parents on this day, I struggle to put onto paper the enormity of my love for you. From the day you came into this world, I have had a front row seat to your journey, and I could not be more proud of the young man standing in front of me. We spend quite a bit of time together and bond over many things. Sometimes it's working out together, you telling me wildly inappropriate jokes, or testing me on my barely there math skills. But let's be honest, it's mostly watching our favorite shows cuddled on the couch, which I really hope you never outgrow. As you may or may not remember in my speech to your favorite sister Logan, I gave her a list of lessons learned from Taylor Swift that I hope she would carry into her life. Not to worry, I will not do that to you. However, in my hopes for you, I'm relying on one of our shared favorites to help guide the way. Our most endearing and lovable coach, Ted Lasso, teaches us about the importance of compassion, growth, kindness, and joy. You have always exhibited these qualities. Your compassion and empathy for others is a gift. You have always worried about how other people feel, how other people live, and how you can make their lives better. While I would like to take credit for that, I really can't, because you were just born with a golden heart. At around 4 years old, you earned the nickname Sunshine because you had a contagious, glowing, relaxed, and gentle personality. You have always exuded graciousness and joy, and I hope you hold on to those characteristics of compassion and charm all your life. Your ability to stand in other people's shoes is a tremendous strength, one that some people never attain. I have told you all of your life that with your big heart and your inquisitive brain, there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. Coach Lasso also said, I promise you there is something worse out there than being sad, and that's being alone and sad, and ain't no one in this room alone. I am so proud of the way you interpreted your Haftorah today and tackled a topic not everyone is willing to discuss. In our home, the three of us talk quite a bit about our feelings and the importance of asking for help when we need it. I think your willingness to stand up here and remind people that there is no shame in feeling sad, depressed, or asking for help is one of the bravest things you could have done today. Coach Lasso is correct. No one in this room is alone, and everyone who knows you knows that you would go out of your way to ensure each person here today is seen and heard. AFC Richmond's fearless leader also teaches us about the importance of being a goldfish. While sometimes your 10-second memory is infuriating, especially when we have to leave for school and you don't know where you put your shoes, or your lunch, or your backpack, but your ability to let things go and move on with your life is a level of resiliency and grace we can all learn from. You should not be defined by the mistakes you make in life, and I hope you continue to live yours without resentment or anger, always looking ahead and shaking off anything that happened 10 seconds ago. Lastly, Ted Lasso has the ability to raise people up. You, my sweet boy, also see the best in people and try to hone in on those qualities. You live your life with heart, and you encourage others to do the same. Like any good leader, you are fiercely loyal, you are thoughtful and empathetic, and you value building relationships with people. I hope you continue to live your life with integrity and curiosity, balanced with doses of vulnerability and courage. Most importantly, I hope you always know that there's a spot for you on the couch next to me anytime you want. I love you beyond measure, and I'm so very, very proud of you. You and your sister are my MVPs.
Hayden, I'm going to start with you.
Still me?
Still you. I love that you embraced everything about becoming a bar mitzvah. As you embrace most things in life, with enthusiasm, thoughtfulness, regular jokes that may be R-rated, and near flawless execution. You did a beautiful job today leading the congregation and showing us the power of vulnerability and authenticity in your Devar Torah. Brene Brown has nothing on you. You are and always have been such a warm and affectionate kid. Even now, at almost 14, you always make a point to hug and kiss me when we meet and say goodbye. Even last night, when you were a disgusting mess, you still went to give me an air hug. I love that even as you grow older, taller, and wiser, you maintain that sweetness. I dare say it would be impossible for you to outgrow it because it is so fundamental to your being. You are such a blessing to our family. I am lucky to be your Aunt Bobby, and I am so fortunate to have a front row seat to the amazing man you are becoming. Mazel tov. And now you. You can take your mask off, you know. Lily Eleanor, my best girl. You did an incredible job today, and I could not be more proud of you. I know I've said that a lot over the last few years, or not years, weeks, also years, but really over the last few weeks, but it's true. This has not been an easy journey. It has actually been one of the hardest things you have done thus far in your 12 years. And let's be honest, it might have been one of the hardest things I have ever done as your mother. After COVID put a wrench in the plans for Hayden's bar mitzvah, and we realized that for a brief window, you and Hayden could celebrate this wonderful simcha together, we didn't consider that you would only be in 6th grade, still in the midst of a global pandemic and without the benefit of an extra year plus of your Hebrew and bat mitzvah prep. And when that realization finally dawned, and it dawned pretty late, instead of giving up, you committed. Now standing on this bima in front of so many people who love you, and that includes all of the friends and family cheering you on virtually, I hope you can see what I see. Your bat mitzvah experience is a testament to your resilience and your determination. Even under very challenging circumstances, you can push past your doubts and your fears to accomplish great things. After all, that is exactly what you did to arrive at this moment. As I thought about what I wanted to say to you today, I recalled our recent conversation after your birthday about the common themes that stand out for my annual Facebook birthday posts for you. After all, if I said it on Facebook, it must be true. Just last month, I noted that you are strong, smart, kind, and funny. Last year, I described you as the perfect combination of sweet and spicy. When you turned 10, I celebrated one of the mightiest of the mighty girls. Going back even further, I wrote, strong, smart, stubborn, you are incredible. I love you for knowing your own mind. So yes, I think it's fair to say that you can be fiercely independent and more than a touch sassy. In a word, mighty. Much like the strong, smart, independent women for whom you are named. In Hebrew, Leah Iska for your maternal great-grandmothers, and in English, Eleanor for your Nona's mother. Lily, Edith, and Eleanor serve as wonderful examples as you now chart your own path to adulthood. They all worked outside the home, even when that was not expected for a woman, were deeply committed to and loved their families, and each in her own way navigated the world on her own terms and without much regard for what others might think, and you follow in their footsteps. Your choice of a black talit is a perfect example of this. As you know, a talit is worn to create a sense of personal space during prayer. By wrapping yourself in it, you can enhance the intention and direction of your prayers. I love that you selected a less traditional talit that reflects your unique taste while enhancing your connection to Judaism. I have talked about your individualism, your spunkiness, and your strength, but these remarks would be incomplete if I didn't also talk about your empathy, kindness, and compassion. You are a good friend and a great sister. You care deeply for others, human and canine. You have a wickedly smart sense of humor. After all, you dubbed yourself the Pita Child. As I conclude, I have both a prayer and a promise to share with you today. My prayer for you, Lily, is for a long life filled with peace, joy, and purpose, surrounded by family, friends, and community. It is my hope that your best days will far outnumber the worst days, but you will find meaning in both. My promise to you today is to be there for you always, whether in celebration or sadness, to support you, cheer for you, teach you, even when that's the last thing you want from me, and guide you through life's challenges and opportunities. I wear many hats and fill many roles, but it is the gift of being mom to you and to Sam that is simultaneously the hardest and easiest of them all. I could not love you more, sweet girl, and I could not be prouder. And more importantly, I hope you are proud of yourself. Mazel tov.
The last word. I'm going to relish it for a second. No, I'm kidding. I'll be quick because even though I know that nobody's been fasting today, I don't want to stand in the way of lunch. So But I can't let this opportunity go. I can't let it slip by, and so I hope you'll indulge me for a second. In the Haftarah, Lily and Hayden talked about wisdom, and the story tells us about wisdom. The story is about a guy, King Solomon, and two women, who, as Lily told you, were definitely not prostitutes. In the story, it's the guy who's wise and the women who are seeking wisdom, or at least that's the way it's often interpreted. But in the real life story of this B'nai Mitzvah, it's the two women who are wise and the guy who's along for the ride. Tracy, Aunt Titi, you are a force of nature. Your quiet strength is extraordinary, and your innate sense of when to comfort and to push and to love these two or these four extra hard is uncanny. And while we will have to discuss the wine budget, I want to say thank you. The bar and bat mitzvah have benefited from your wisdom, and so has our entire family. Robin, my wife of 47 years, you are the river to my rock. Without your faith and your grit and your patience and your patience and your patience and your faith in us, all of us, none of us would be here. I hope you know how effective and how loved you are. I have said it before and I will say it again. Lily and Sam and I won the lottery when we got you. To my nephew Hayden, I am proud of you. Not because you did a wonderful job reading Torah today or because you actually put on pants. I am proud of you because you became a man today and you talked about things that men don't traditionally talk about. You talked about things that are hard. You have guts and you have courage, and I don't ever want you to change. And Lily, Lily, there's so much I could say, but I want to point out one thing. Today you stood up for something. When you were preparing your Haftarah, you did not like that the two women were sometimes called prostitutes. You thought that was wrong. You didn't like the fact that their husbands weren't mentioned in the story, and that means they must have been prostitutes, and you knew that was not right. And you said so in your speech twice. I am proud of your outrage, and I'm happy your outrage is directed somewhere else and not at me. I am so proud of you for what you have become, small and mighty, and I don't ever want you to change. I want you to keep being outraged when you see injustice. So Hayden and Lily, Mazel Tov, you did it. To all of you who came today from across the country and from across town, to my sister from another mister, to the Robertson family who are sitting at home eating sausage, watching this virtually, thank you all for being part of this.
Hugs, guys. We keep all of those thoughts in mind, and we have some gifts for you that we'll give to you in just a few minutes, but we're going to move forward into the concluding part of our service, which is the Moosa Service. It's special for Rosh Chodesh, for the beginning of the new month, of course. So if you'll turn to page 184, there you will find Chatzi Kaddish that Hayden will be leading us, and then we will turn forward in our Siddur, and I'll give you the page in a minute, where we will do the Amidah for Rosh Chodesh. So I ask if you're able to rise as Hayden, take the mask off. As Hayden leads us in Chatzi Kaddish, page 184.
Yitkada v'yitkada Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirete v'yalmich malchute b'chayechon yom echon ובחיי בכל בית ישראל, בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, אמרו אמן. יהי שמירה במבורך, לעולם ולעולמי יתברך וישתבח ויתער ויתמם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לעולם מכל בריאתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמי ירד בעלמה במהרה.
We begin the Amidah together, page 193. 193 for Shabbat Rosh Chodesh on the Hebrew side, the left side of the Hebrew side page. When we add the inclusions for Shabbat, certainly, and there is a paragraph you will be directed to for Chanukah as well. We begin 193.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarai Elohei Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagivor v'Hanora
Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol
Vesocher Chasdei Avod Uvmikal Livnei B'nehem L'ma'on Shemo Ya'ava Melech Ozer U'Magisheh U'Magen Baruch atah
Adonai
Magen Abraham Uvokeh Tzara Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayim Metim
Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorit
HaGashem
Mechakel Chayim
Bechesed Mechayim
Metim Berachamim Rabim
Zomech
Noflim Verofei Cholim
Umatir Asurim
Umekayem Emunato
Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bagilurot Umidom Elach Melech Mehit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua
Emanat Halachayot Metim Baruch atah Adonai
Mechayeh HaMetim.
Kakatuva Yad Neviecha v'Karazel Ze v'Amar Kadosh
Kadosh, Kadosh, Adonai Tzavot, Melech kol haaretz kevodo.
Kevodo malei olam Mesharet Havshoalim Ze Lazeh Yemekom Kevodo Yimatam Baruch Yomeru
Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo.
Pamayim Yahava Shema Omerim Shema Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav Shenit Li'enei Kol Chai L'hiot Lachem L'Elohim
Ani Adonai Elohechem.
U'divrei Kodshecha Katuv Lemor
Yimloch Adonai le'olam Elohayim Tzion
Ledor vador, hallelujah. Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Nagid Galecha.
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador,
Ledor vador, Nagid Galecha.
Ulaneta netahim kedushat natish kedushat natish. V'shivcha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid galecha.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid galecha. Ki el melech gadol v'kadosh kadosh v'kadosh ata. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la 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 la.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid galecha.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid galecha.
Baruch atah Adonai.
When you're through, you're welcome to be seated. As always, please take your time. We continue with Kaddish Shalem, page 203.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בילמד יברכתי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב ימרו. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יברך וישתבח ויפואר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מכופכתה ושירתה תושבתה ולבדן מרם בימה ויאמרו תתקבל תפילות ונבואות לכל ישראל קודם אבל הם שמיה ויאמרו יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו.
If you'll turn to page 204, we'd like to invite up all of those who were up here before, all of our pre- and post-B'nai Mitzvah, CYJ friends, Lily and Hayden, we need you too, for Ein Kelohenu and Aleinu, page 204. Our RPRS students, pre- and post-B'nai Mitzvah. If you don't fall into one of those categories, you can come up anyway. 204.
Let's warm them up. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Together. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shektiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha Heketoret.
We rise for Aleinu, page 205.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליותר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככהמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נותן
שמיים ויוצא הארץ,
ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומי. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אפס זולתו,
כך כתוב בתורתו,
אותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחתנו אין עוד.
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד,
You are welcome to be seated. Nice, got the good choir going on up here. I love it.
I'll sit with you.
we let everybody get settled for a moment. We pause here in our celebration to just come down one notch or so. As we turn to page 207, there you'll find the Mourners Kaddish. And as we recite Mourners Kaddish today, we continue to give our hugs of support and condolences to the families on the loss of Joan Fries, mother of Jack Fries and sister of Fred Bartel, and as well the extended Fries family, Burnett family, on the death of Anita Reich as they move through Shloshim, and as well for David Cohen as we remember him, son of Sylvia Cohen and brother to Jeff Cohen, who I know many of us know here as one of our amazing B'nai Mitzvah tutors and teachers. So we extend our hugs of support to them as well. We also mention the names of those whose yortzites occur today and the week that's coming. Gerald Davis, Henry Friedman, Violet Gershowitz, Irene Heinz, Louis Heinz, Ben Markey Jones, Rachel Godofsky-Kaminsky, Leonor Cavey, Norma Leibovitz, Leah Alterman-Levin, Max A. Mendlovitz, Ann Moskowitz, Helen Okrent, Gregory Peisman, Zaja Regenbaum, Samuel H. Reif, Ethel Sampler, Harry Silberman, Harvey Snyder, and Marvin Solomon. That's Ben Markey Jacobs. You'll find Kaddish Tome, the Mourners Kaddish, page 207, and certainly if you are reciting Kaddish, you have people in your thoughts, welcome to rise and join with me, page 207. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'el Alma Divrach Hirutei v'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May be seated. We call upon Craig Berkowitz, our president of our board of trustees. He has a number of presentations, actually, to the two of you. You all have been giving to us this whole entire day, and as we prepare to end our service, if you will come forward, as Craig has some gifts for you on behalf of the entire community.
Here you are. Thank you. So, first, Mazel Tov. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire congregation, we are tremendously proud of your accomplishments, and we are so happy to share the joy and love of your family today. And I hope that this is a memory that lasts forever. My heart's exploding for you all. I just wanted to let you know about some of the gifts that we're giving to you today. Hayden? There is, first off, I've been told this has become known as the Agudas swag bag. So we have a Tanakh, a Hebrew Bible. You can continue to study the Torah. We also have Bechol Echad, full of songs that you've learned at religious school, but at camp. The Sisterhood is providing you with this lovely Kiddush cup and candlesticks to celebrate Shabbat. And Lily, We also are happy to present you both with your bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah certificates that indicate that to recognize your achievements. Again, Mazel Tov to the Lacerdo and Morris families, and to both of you, thank you so much. We're tremendously proud of you, and we welcome the community, and want to thank our clergy, Rabbi Sharon Cohen and Cantor Ken Cohen, for such a lovely service. And you're all welcome to Kiddush Luncheon immediately following services hosted by the Lacerdo Morris families. There are some announcements, but I'm not going to go into it, running a little late, but they're all posted here in your brochure if you'd like to pick one of those up on the way out. Shabbat Shalom.
Put him down. I'll be brief. You all, I'm here. You all have taken on an amazing challenge. You read Torah. You had the opportunity to lead us in prayer last night and today. And you chanted the Haftarah. You learned the blessings around that. And then you taught us as well, both unique messages to both of who you are. And I will concur with your parents who shared the words they shared with you a little bit earlier. Hayden, you're just an easygoing guy. You're supportive of everybody I see that is near you, and you're a very except for her, right? You're very thoughtful in how you do it. Your message today was mature beyond your years, and I was so impressed after we talked about the meaning of your Haftarah, and you came back with a message that was just incredibly beautiful, and shows just how deep a thinker you are, how insightful and how intuitive you are, and I hope you will continue to carry those skills out into the world, because those are the skills that our world needs to become a better place. So hope you will do that, as well as continue to be a part of the community here, celebrating from the Bima, reading Torah, doing the things that you can do to enhance our experience here in the sanctuary, as well as just in the building. And Lily, you and I have had a very fun time the last number of weeks. Your mom spoke to your resilience and your determination, and that's exactly what you have. And I hope you will take those skills wherever you go, certainly bringing them back here into our congregation and out into the world as well, because that's, again, what we need from our young adults, our young people, is that strength of heart and determination. You could have so easily said, I'm not doing this, and you didn't. And I can't tell you how proud I am of you today. You and I have worked long and hard, I know, along with the cantor. He and I are very, very proud of you for all that you've done. You should be proud of yourself. Hayden, same thing. So as we stand here on this bima, as we prepare to conclude this amazing service, we've had 3 Torahs, we've had amazing talks, we've had wonderful prayer. And what? 2 talks, right? Two Divrei Torah. And I think that all of it can be summed up, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the service, with our priestly blessing, Birkat Kohanim, which was the most profound blessings that our priests could add and bestow upon the community. We bestow upon you today. So, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless and protect you. May God's countenance shine upon you and bestow only the kindnesses of life upon you. And may God's countenance, may God's spirit be lifted towards you, and may you always be granted a sense of shalom in the world as you move forward. And together we say, Amen. Shekoach. I'm very proud of you. Want to give a few thank yous as we prepare to recite Adon Olam or sing Adon Olam. So as those of you who are part of CYJ
That's your COIJ gang. If you will come on up, make your way up. And Logan and Sam, you guys are going to help with the little instrument. We're going to do an instrumental Adon Olam. And as they come up, I'd like to thank all of you, of course, for being here. Thank Craig for being here on the Bima. We want to thank our Gabayim, Bernard and Mark, for being here. And if you want to see how it goes next week, because next week we're going to be celebrating with Bernard on his second bar mitzvah. Yay. He's in here somewhere. I missed where he is at. But he was up here calling up for his for the Aliyot, and he will be celebrating his second bar mitzvah. You turn 83, you get to do it again. And so we'll come and celebrate with him. Following that, the next week we have Nikki Nestel, so we hope you will join us the next couple of weeks as we continue to celebrate through the month of December. Also want to thank Phil. Thank you for all your help, as always, being one of our Gabayim as well. And I know Mindy was in the back, Karen was back there, and Cameron was somewhere around there, and Barry back there as well, holding the Torah, I know. And of course, all of our Torah readers, we thank all of you for participating today. So with that, we're going to do Adon Olam to a musical version that is a camp favorite that hopefully many of you know. Followed by, we will have our families then come up, just the family, immediate family come up for Kiddush and Motzi, and then we'll be able to celebrate in the back in the social hall. So page 211, you guys know what you're doing? Yeah? Okay. Page 211, as all of you on the Bima lead us in Adon Olam as we conclude our amazing service today. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Last verse. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to ask for you to stand, please, as we take Kiddush cups in hand. All of you on the Bima go on back down. Hayden and Lily, don't disappear. We need you. Immediate family, if you'll come on up for our Kiddush and Motzi. As we turn back in our Siddur to page 77, there you will find Vishamru as Hayden and Lily lead us in Vishamru, page 77. Come over here. Oh, all right, stay over here. Why not? Okay. It's here. Go for it. I don't know if the camera will get you, but we'll do it. Ready?
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתו. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו את השבת. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כן בירך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו.
דברי לחיים, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
חיים.
Amen לחיים. We have a beautiful challah. What do you want to do? Put a little hand sanitizer on there for us. You guys can take it off if you want. Ready? Lily, Hayden, do you think you can help us with the bracha for bread? I think you can. Ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Take a piece. Shabbat shalom. Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov.
Shabbat,
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
That's the coolest watch ever.